What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about SoFi. I want to go over some of the current data points and just give you your daily dose of SoFi updates. So I want to go over all the things that you need to know, but first make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So SoFi did go down 3.86% alongside many other growth stocks. After hours, it is extending that a little bit further, down 0.56%, 1610 the low, 1681 the high. So today was a fairly negative day for SoFi all in all. But today you did have 35.04 million shares being traded, 42.9 is the average. So starting off, today we did have FOMC, and ultimately that kind of spooked the market a little bit. So there was talk about tariffs, how a lot of that is going to really hit the consumers right here, even though Powell has stated they don't really like to talk about essentially tariffs and whatever. And then in addition to that, says upside risk to the inflation outlook. In particular, participants cited the possible effects of potential changes in trade and immigration policies. So how that might potentially increase inflation. And so I know a lot of people have been stating that, a lot of analysts, and one data point did come out first thing that once again reinvigorated the fears associated to inflation, and that was this. So the mortgage rate came in at 6.93%. So you had a lot of analysts throughout the day kind of signaling that, hey, there is going to be a increase in inflation, usually a 6 month delay or something like that. So potentially tail end of Q2, this is where you're going to see inflation start to really uptick. So once again, not necessarily the best overall. On a positive note, you did have this. So building permits and starts came in better than anticipated. So again, maybe that is kind of a good thing, but generally SoFi just kind of pulled down with the broader market. And interestingly enough, you see this random sell-off that had nothing to do with SoFi whatsoever. Rather, there's kind of news that did drop associated to Palantir. So Palantir caused a crazy sell-off in the broader market, and so it looks like funding from the Pentagon is getting slashed, and then not only that, their CEO is selling. So I think a lot of people take Anthony for granted, the fact that he doesn't sell, he buys, not as much as I'm sure some people might like, but nonetheless he does have and holds his position quite well. So let me know your viewpoint on that. Moving over to shorts, they did increase 131,000 shares. 11.74% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 126.43 million shares overall are being shorted. So shorts did definitely take advantage, but still they have been very, very timid over the last little bit. So they haven't really ever been doing like anything crazy. So I don't know. What's your viewpoint on that? As far as today though, no actual news from SoFi itself, no SEC filings or anything like that. You did have those 144s that were submitted yesterday. Those were for tax purposes only, but it's definitely a good thing as well that no insiders of SoFi are selling. So let me know your viewpoint on that. Moving over to options, you have 15 million in calls, 3.55 in puts. 44% of all the options being done today were bearish in nature. Of the call options that were purchased, you see a consensus for it to be roughly around the $18 range. And then the bears are anticipating for it to be sub 15. So still a lot more upside, but as far as the level of optimism, it is starting to go down, because yesterday you had some consensus for it to be above 1850 / even 19. So that is starting to go down a little bit. These are all the transactions that did occur on the secondary market above $100,000. So you are seeing some repetitive selling. So 10.1, 10.1 million, 5.5, those are all done after hours on a side note. So I think all of these entities are somehow correlated with Palantir, and maybe some people are thinking that indirectly is going to hurt a lot of other stocks. I'm not really sure. It's definitely an interesting scenario, and I think Palantir definitely has saved the broader market over the last little bit, especially a lot of AI stocks and just tech stocks. So yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see how the market does take all of that tomorrow and stuff like that. But first thing, you did see a little bit of string of buying, one big one right here, 7.5 million. But these are all the transactions that did also occur on the dark pool. Dark pool, as per usual, very, very active. A lot of this is linked to shorts as well as just larger entities. So yeah, it's kind of, I don't know, it is what it is. The only downside of looking at the dark pool, it doesn't actually show like bids or asks, so it's kind of hard to see what is buys. You have to look at some of the transactions before and after just to see if it moved or anything like that. But yeah, it's nothing really crazy to overanalyze. But right now, with it at $16.18, it is between these 2 points, so this R1 and the pivot. So 15.93 is going to be the next strong support. Possibly, if the fear does roll over into tomorrow, it could definitely touch that, so just watch for that to be kind of that solid support. Flip side, 1777 is going to be the next strong kind of target slash resistance, and given the amount of fear that's in the market, seems to have just popped up during power hour, I don't really see that being a candidate for tomorrow, at least, but hopefully I'm wrong. No new analyst ratings or anything like that. So you do see the last one that did come out was roughly around 5 days ago, BTIG, Vincent and stuff. So nothing really new. Still yet to see David's update. So maybe he actually just gave up completely with SoFi. So he will go down for the record of $5. Maybe that's where he's just going to kind of just stay there. Who knows? It's definitely an interesting scenario. But as far as on the actual chart itself, so today it did hold above that ALMA, so that is sitting at $15.88. 1573 is also a key, really key support for SoFi, and that's a 50-day moving average. So we already do know, generally speaking, in the past, that's been kind of like a make it or break it point. SoFi, as of the tail end of last week, was able to fight and get above that. So definitely showed a lot of good optimism, but I don't feel the market really, there's a lot of different things happening, but I think a lot of the moral of the story is inflation. So a lot of people are still really worried about inflation, and even the Fed started to now bring up how tariffs could indirectly cause prices to go up. And again, from that attribute, cause inflation to go higher. So it's definitely a unique circumstance. So let me know your viewpoint on SoFi. Did you buy the dip? Did you sell? What have you been doing with SoFi? I actually haven't been doing all that much. Like I mentioned, I think in my last update, I did make a new portfolio, moved roughly around, I think it's like 60, 70,000 over there. I did buy $30,000 worth of Celsius, so they did announce their earnings, and so hopefully that turns out well. So that is going to be after hours, I believe, on the 20th, so tomorrow. And yeah, once SoFi does, if it does for whatever reason get back to kind of the low 15s or high 14s, that is where I'll start to buy. And from that stage, then I'll show you the transactions, me doing my weekly options. Honestly, it's been a while since I've done any SoFi options. When it did pull back right down here, I kind of sold some calls, but obviously SoFi did recover. So my, or sorry, not calls, I sold some puts, and yeah, they obviously expired worthless, free money, and all the other fun jazz. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on SoFi. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. One final thing, pop over to my Discord, completely free. A lot of good people over there, a lot of good chat talking about options, crypto, stocks, whatever floats your boat. Definitely worthwhile to pop over there and take a look. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.